Hey everybody, I think by now everybody's familiar with the Dutch bucket setup, and there's still a few questions about the watering cycle. Give me a few minutes and I'm going to try to explain it to you. Alright, so here's the deal. Right from the very start, I've always advocated for 30 minutes 3 times a day to water your buckets. Whatever was in here, 30 minutes 3 times a day. And then in the summertime, when it gets really hot and you come in and your plants are wilting and stuff, you need to adjust it. You can go from 45 minutes, an hour, 3 times a day. Put a 4th period in there. Whatever it takes, you have to let the plants tell you what they need. And when you come by, you have to look at that plant and understand what it's trying to tell you. For the most part, if you've got one plant and you've got 2 stems going up like this right here, and you've got clusters of tomatoes on there, you don't have a tremendous amount of foliage. Some people are doing 1 plant and 1 stem. You're going to even have less per bucket. You could do 2 plants, 1 stem each going up, and basically 2 plants are doing the same thing that this 1 plant is with 2 stems on it. The point being is that the timing is adjustable. You have to look at that plant, start out with a baseline of 30 minutes 3 times a day, and then you go up from there as that plant tells you that it needs water. So when you come outside and you look at whatever you happen to have growing in the buckets, whether it be tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, whether it's cauliflower, even celery down there, if you got cucumbers in there, whatever, basil, whatever you happen to have, look at that plant. And when you see those leaves or wilting and stuff, that plant is telling you, hey man or girl, I need some water. Give me some water. So you change the watering period. There's one situation that I found out this year requires substantially more water than just a regular 2-stem indeterminate tomato. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Most of the time what I'm going to grow in the Dutch bucket, Bato bucket setup is going to be big beef, because I know it's going to be an indeterminate and it's going to go straight up and it's going to set fruit in clusters as it goes. What we have here is something a little bit different. Now talking about this is actually celery. If y'all remember from the video about the cauliflower, I had celery growing down here. Well, this is the same system, same setup, but instead of having cauliflower over here, I've got 2 celebrity tomato plants. I bought these really early in the year when it was still pretty cold, and I figured I would take a chance and try to get something started so we would have some earlier tomatoes versus a whole production run that was likely to get killed by a freeze. This is what I found out. When you look at this determinate tomato plant, sometimes they're semi-determinate, but this is pretty much determinate based on what I see up here. There's not a whole lot of new growth. You got a lot of foliage to take care of. You got a lot of fruit to take care of. And these plants in the middle of the day, even though they're being watered for now an hour 3 times a day, they still tend to wilt down a little bit. I got maybe 2 more weeks and a lot of this stuff is going to be done, and I'll be done with the plant probably tomorrow. I'm going to come in here. I got a lot of people I'm probably going to give stuff to and pick all this stuff off, and it'll be gone. But this is the thing. You have to look at that plant and let that plant tell you what's going on. And when I started looking at these, and when the indeterminate big beef were doing really well, and during the middle of the day, these were starting to wilt, I said, what is going on? And then, okay, 2 + 2 = 4, I'm thirsty. So I bumped the timer, since they're both on the same timer, just bumped everything up to an hour 3 times a day, and these have done a whole lot better. The celery right here, as I recall, I made the video and I said, well, I guess if I'm going to grow it, I'm going to need to learn to like it. As you can tell, there ain't that much learning to me, is it? Because I sure didn't learn to like it. So I was going to pull it out and get rid of it. It started to seed out, and my wife said, well, celery seed is something that she uses quite often in different recipes and stuff. So let it go to seed. She's going to try to collect the celery seed off of it, and we'll see how that goes. I've got it tied up, doing everything I could to keep it from falling over. I never knew celery was going to be 4 foot tall and stuff like that, but it is what it is. And if I can make some celery seed, she'll be happy, and then I can get this thing out of here hopefully about the time these are finished up. So in closing, again, when it comes to the watering, the pump size people ask me about, I use a 264 gallon per hour, pretty basic. You can get those things just about anywhere. Any hydroponic store will have them. You could go up to a 400 if you wanted to. I use a 264 basically because that's what I started with and that's what has worked for me, so I see no need to change it. As far as the time of day, the number of rotations, periods, I do 7-1-7. If you want to switch it up and put a fourth period in there, you could do that. Again, listen to your plants. They will tell you what they need. It's no different than going outside and looking at your corn and seeing, man, that stuff is looking kind of puny, kind of yellow. It's screaming, give me some nitrogen, okay? Give it some soda and watch it go. Same thing with the plants. When they're wilting, they need water, and you need to adjust the watering cycle to accommodate that. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for the support. Thanks for watching. And Lord willing, we're going to see you next time.